Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Club Lonely Moms. If you're new here, I'm Caitlin. Today I want to do a video about my journey into motherhood and basically how I got here. I guess let's get right into it. I have always wanted to be a mom. I didn't happen upon motherhood by accident, which doesn't make me, I don't have a complex about that, but it's the truth. I didn't happen upon motherhood by accident. Ever since I was a child, I wanted a baby. I remember when I was like 7 years old, or even younger, I think. But I'm gonna go with 7 because I think that's what I remember it being. I remember when I was like 7 years old, I used to think Santa was like this omnipresent, like God almost, from like the he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, that sort of stuff. So I assumed that you could like talk to him, like speak out into the universe, and he would hear what you wanted for Christmas. And I used to ask for a baby. Literally every year I asked for a baby. Not like a doll. I asked for I wanted a real baby. I was very specific that I wanted it to be alive and I wanted it to be like genetically my child. And then also when I was a kid, family members had babies, and so I was around infants like my whole childhood. And I used to think I used to hope that they didn't want to be the kid's parent anymore so that I could be their parent, which is a little messed up if you really think about it, but I don't know if that's healthy, but that's the truth. I genuinely knew I always wanted to be a mom. I always wanted that like relationship where I'm the mom and I have a baby, like the mother-child relationship. And then moving into my teenage years, I used to babysit my infant cousins all the time, and I couldn't get enough of babies and kids. I loved being around children in general. I loved looking after them and caring for them. And at the time of like teenagehood was when I was thinking about what I wanted to be when I grew up, like going into university. And I was never really sure about like what I wanted to be career-wise, but I knew for certain that whatever it was, I wanted to be a mom. Like whatever it was, I needed to be able to also be a mom. Like I was so sure that I wanted to be a mom, and I wasn't really sure what else I wanted to be. So I had a lot of familial pressure and societal pressure to go to university and finish my degree before I had kids, which kind of makes sense, like you graduate from high school, you're 17, 18. And then if you do your bachelor degree in 4 years, then you're 22 when you graduate. And that's still really young. But when I was that age, I thought that like I was so mature, I was so old, and I was like, okay, well, I'm graduated high school, I'm ready to be a mom, but society says I have to finish my bachelor's degree first. So as soon as I finish my degree, I want to be a mom. So it ended up not going that way, of course. I'm 26 now, and I only just had my baby this year, after my 26th birthday. So I started university. I was about in my first year of university when I discovered YouTube. Obviously I knew YouTube was a thing before that. Like I would watch music lyric videos and stuff like that, but I didn't really watch I didn't subscribe to anyone and watch their videos like weekly or whatever. And that's when I really discovered people on YouTube. I was watching the beauty guru type videos, but then I also discovered this whole other side to YouTube where there was mom vloggers, and they would vlog their experience as moms, and they'd also vlog their children, which is not something I'm gonna do, but that's something I loved to watch. I loved seeing people's kids grow up. There's people I've watched since then, and that was in 2015. And now it's 2023, so I've watched some kids grow up for 8 years that I've never met in real life. And that's special. I think that's a special thing to see on the internet. Anyways, from those type of videos, the people that I followed were very conscious type parents, conscious parenting types. I don't know how many more ways I could say that. I'm just trying to say it properly, I guess. So that was really, following these parents on YouTube was really my first experience with a new type of parenting that was different than how I was raised, more respectful parenting. This is no shade to how I was brought up, but it's genuinely not how I'm raising my child. Anyways, the people are more conscious parents. They're responsive, holistic, kind of they foster a very loving environment for their children, and that further cemented me wanting to be a mom. Seeing the way these people parented and loved to parent loved being parents, loved being with their children. I was like, yep, I was already sold, but you know what? After seeing all of this and learning all of this type of parenting, I am sold further. Like I cannot wait to be a parent. And at this point, you know, I was only 18, so obviously like society says I wasn't ready. I guess like now I'm 26, looking back, obviously 18 was really young. I was very, very different when I was 18 than I am now. Like I have really genuinely matured since then, learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about the world, went to therapy for a few years, and met like good people, and it really formed me into genuinely being a better person than I was when I was 18 years old. So I'm really happy I didn't have a child back then. And I'm really happy that I waited until now to have a baby, because I'm definitely in a certainly more stable mental space. I'm also in a more like loving space. Not that I wouldn't have loved my child at 18, I just wasn't as capable, I think, of being a parent and having this like just maturity, I guess, is I think very helpful in becoming a parent. And also like we're financially stable, and that is I'm sure way easier to be a parent and focus on parenting when you're not worried about like how you're gonna get food, pay for your rent next month, you know? So anyways, YouTube really reinforced when I was young, late teens, early 20s, that I wanted to be a parent, but also like how I kind of wanted to parent. Like I admired how these people parented, and I feel like it really helped form the foundation or add to the foundation of how I parent my child now. So yeah, when I was in university, I did a bunch of interning. I did, I think, like 16 months of interning through like different semesters in the summers and stuff. And on my first internship was how I met my now husband. And we continued to see each other long distance through university. And I knew the whole time I wanted to have kids like as soon as possible, but he certainly was not ready, and definitely not someone you could just convince to do something like that. So really it was me waiting until my husband felt ready to have kids. I got to the end of my degree and things changed because I wanted to do a different degree. So through YouTube and all of this parenting content, I also watched a lot of like birthing content, and I discovered midwifery, like what midwifery was, what midwives do, how much people deserve to have from their birth. Like people deserve to come out of their birth with so much more than baby and I are healthy, so it's fine. And that's something I really wanted to contribute to, because if you're in Canada, and I think this is similar in the US, but if you're in Canada, the amount of midwives, there are not very many midwives, so not everyone who wants midwifery care can get it. So I really wanted to be a part of that. And so I applied. In my last semester of my first degree, I applied to midwifery school to start in September, and I graduated from my degree in December. So I had 18 months before the beginning of school started again. So this was in 2020. I graduated December 2020, and I was to start midwifery school September 2021. And at this point, I decided that I'm going to finish my new degree, work for a year to get my registered midwife, to become a registered midwife, because you're not just an RM when you graduate, you have to get the experience in order to qualify. So I needed to fill the December to September with a job. And I didn't feel comfortable applying to an engineering job with the expectation that I was going to be working there as a career, when I knew that I was going to go to school in September. In January, I didn't know. I actually found out, I think, in May of that year that I got into school and that I was going to go. But I didn't feel comfortable like lying by omission. So I got a job as a nanny for 8 months, which was really fitting because I love children, because I want to be a mom. And this was during COVID. So when it was really scary for everybody, and we weren't going anywhere. That's when I was a nanny, and the parents of the children worked from home because everyone worked from home at that point. So they were always around working, but they came down for lunch and they came down on their breaks to see the children. And so I really got a lot of it was a really enriching learning experience to watch these people parent. One of them is a psychologist, a family psychologist, which is an interesting perspective to have towards parenting. And then both of them, period, are great parents. So it was really awesome to get to basically be so ingrained in their life and see how they parent, and like I really found that experience to be super valuable in my parenting now. I take a lot away from what I learned from them, and I'm still really good friends with them, which is nice. So I get to see the kids not all the time. I still get to see the kids frequently though. So yes, then I started my midwifery school in September, and then December came around and the program basically was not for me. I still love midwives. I love midwifery. I had a midwife from my birth, but if you know anything about midwifery school programs in Canada, then you'll understand when I say like it is not a supportive environment. And so I was put into a position that December that I did not want to be put into in order to continue going to school. So I was faced with this decision to drop out of something that I so passionately loved in order to basically be happy, in order to have happiness in my life. So on one hand, it was a hard decision. On the other hand, it was very easy because I needed to put myself first. And that's just, yeah, that's all I really want to say about the program, because this isn't a video about me dissing a midwifery program. So that December, I decided to leave the program. But what really helped me make this decision was the program was causing me a lot of issues, and I'm a great student. It had nothing to do with my grades. I had like straight A's when I left, which says a lot about whatever. Okay, enough about the program. My decision to leave the program I felt really happy about because I got peace of mind not having to be in that environment anymore. And because that meant, hey, now I can just start my career. I can stop being a student. I can make money. I can stay with my partner and we can have a baby. But as you'll recall, my husband was not ready to have kids yet. And for him, a really huge thing he needed in his life in order to feel like he was ready to have kids was to buy a house. And that was pretty much just ingrained in him and how he was raised. So he really just surprised me at the end of December that year when he was like, you know what, let's have a kid, because we were still renting and we didn't have plans to buy a house because I didn't have a full-time job yet. I was still just coming off of 6.5 years of being a student. So that was really exciting. So my goal then was to get a job in engineering. I don't know if I said this. I graduated from environmental engineering. I'm a civil engineer for a civil consulting firm, but I'm on maternity leave right now, of course. So February, I got a job, but that New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2021, I decided I'm not going to drink anymore after I drank on New Year's, because I wanted my fertility to be as uninterrupted as possible. Like I don't know, I had this anxiety that it would be hard for us to have a baby, because it is hard for a lot of people. So I wanted to ensure that if it was going to be hard, that I already did everything I could. I was already doing everything I could. And then I would know that there wasn't more I could do and that I needed to be seen by a specialist, sort of thing. So I stopped drinking. It's almost been 2 years now that I've been like sober. Literally haven't had a sip of alcohol since then. But at the time I was taking Accutane, and I had to be on birth control if you're on Accutane, because basically that medication pretty much ensures that you're going to have a birth defect if you're pregnant. So there was no chance I was getting pregnant on Accutane, and I wanted to wait till I finished that, and I stopped taking it in March, and I wanted to have some buffer time afterwards for my body to like completely rid itself of the medication. So I stopped taking it in March, started taking prenatal vitamins in March, and stopped taking birth control in March. But I also wanted to give my body the opportunity to try to regulate the hormones after taking hormonal birth control. So I gave myself a few months after that. And then we started trying in May, and I think that first month my cycle was still kind of not, I don't think I ovulated because my cycle was still like kind of messed up from the birth control. And then we tried the next month, or we skipped a month because I had tonsillitis, and then we tried the next month and I got pregnant. So it took us 2 months of trying. 1 month was kind of, I don't know if I would count the first month because I wasn't really that far off of taking birth control. I think my baby's waking up. I'm coming, mamas. So yeah, we were very fortunate to be able to get pregnant so easily, and I genuinely hope that next time we go for it, it is also that easy. And we were so happy when we found out we were pregnant afterwards. and we're so happy to be parents now. That was all a very long-winded way of saying that I feel so fortunate to have my baby at this point. This is what I waited my whole life for. I always knew I wanted to be a mom. I haven't really had bigger dreams in my life than wanting to be a mom. It was the only thing I was ever sure of in life, is that I wanted children, and I just feel so grateful to have a baby girl now. Yeah, I feel emotional. Definitely feel emotional. Jonah and I are so happy to be parents. We're honestly grateful so frequently. We're like, he literally said to me the other day, that was such a good idea you had when you said let's have a baby. And now I'm a mom, and now I'm on maternity leave, and maternity leave is really isolating. And so I'm really happy to be sharing some of my experience with you, whoever you are, subscriber, viewer. That's all I really have for now on that. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like if you can. It would be really helpful if you liked this video. It would be even more helpful if you left a comment, and it would be even more helpful if you subscribed. It would be amazing if you guys could do that, please. If you like my content, of course. I really enjoyed talking about my experience with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye for now.